So hello and welcome. I'm Stig Olsen, and we have shared this presentation, and I will be giving a short introduction to circular economy, and then David Danielle will take over and tell a little bit more about the NoAW project. So circular economy is from a European perspective is to try and change the take, make, and use waste linear economy into a circular economy, where we try to maintain the value of products, materials, and resources in the economy for as long as possible. And another definition or trait of the circular economy is also to minimize the waste generation. So in this next slide here, you can see what are the preferred options in the circular economy. We have the inputs here of different non-renewable materials and renewable materials into what is traditionally the circular or the linear economy here. And what we try to do is to maintain as far as possible in the closest circle to this, say, the better with this from a circular point of view. So we have the waste hierarchy out here. We say we try to share, maintain, reuse, redistribute, remanufacture, recycle, organic recycling, carbon dioxide recycling, and landfill as a last option. So this is what we try to do in the circular economy to maintain as much as possible as high level at the waste hierarchy as possible. And just for illustration, we have a lot of different types of litter. Now we talk about the waste generation. We have dog litter, 1 to 6 months, one of the very fast degrading things. Then we have a lot of things that last for a very, very long time, like disposable nappies from the 50 years, plastic bottles, glass bottles, aluminum cans that last for many, many years if we throw it out in the nature. And what's actually what we're trying to the potential applications for NoAW and for the biodegradable plastics that we produce in the biorefineries is to actually improve the disposable nappies, styrofoam, wrapping of food, plastic bags, plastic bottles. So this would be some of the traits of this NoAW in these aspects. So another aspect that we are not really addressing in the NoAW, but which is of a significant driver for the circular economy, is the use of non-renewable materials. And this is just an illustration of how long time do the materials last if we consume at today's rate. And we have some substances like indium, for example, which goes into the LED flat screens. Not very long, say, supply horizon for that. So this was just to show that this is one of the main drivers, also from a European perspective, is actually to address these non-renewable materials. But from a food perspective, or you say we have lots of different other options. We have to try and say we have the sectors here, the food sector, where we try to produce feed fertilizers. We do the farming. We have organic fertilizers, storage, etc. But within the food industry here, we have many different things that can be done. Innovative packaging. We can reuse food waste. Try to prevent food waste. You make use of the food surplus. And also at the consumer end, there are things to do from a circular perspective. And one of the final slides I have here is actually to say there's often now we are in the NoAW project, we are working very much both with the circular economy, but also with the bioeconomy. And the bioeconomy, there's often a bit of a confusion about what is what. And the bioeconomy is actually much more than just the circular economy, because the bioeconomy addresses the use of our biological material, not just in a circular way, but actually also to use it for as a provider of materials and chemicals to the modern industrial society. And the circular economy forms part of this in terms of trying to make a feedback of these materials and reuse it as the original definition I came up with, to try to maintain the value for as long as possible of these biomaterials. So when we talk about making plastics from biomaterials, there's actually a competition for the biomaterials, not just to make the plastic, but also to make chemicals, to use them for fuels, to make them for feed or whatever. So the bioeconomy is becoming also a bit competitive on what do we use the biomaterials for. And now I will give it over to you, Daniel.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Stig. Good morning, all participants. Thank you to be so 135 people looking for that. So thank you very much. To give you some figures, I'm a statistician, I'm an economist, so I'm happy to bring data. And if you see bioeconomy in Europe, 3 trillion of euro, it's immense, it's a huge amount of money with 21 million employees. If you see how it's spread in the sector, in the different categories, you see that the food and drink industry represents more or less half of the turnover. Then we have agriculture, fisheries, paper and leather, very important sector. Forestry is still there. Other sectors different from food, no-food sectors like building, eco-building, bio-building, textile, seeds and breeds. And last but not least, we have bio-based materials. It represents more or less 100 billion euro in Europe, but with a very, very high potential. In terms of employees, on the right side, you may see that the drink industry, food and drink industry represents more or less 4.2 million employees, 11 million employees regarding agriculture. Fishery is a very little part, but paper and leather, forestry, and other sectors, no food, represents more or less 5 million employees. So it's a very, very important sector. It's the most important sector in Europe. Please, Stig. What are, may you change, Stig? Thank you very much. What are the recent industrial developments in Central and Europe? In a very synthetic way, bio-based production lines are increasing. Science and research are looking to optimize, as we said before, industrialized processes. We shift a lot in Europe from the cell factory, not only for academia, from the cell factory to the real factory, scaling up our industrial production. CO2 as well as waste and products becomes a potential resources coming from biomasses and from waste. Borders between biochemical products, biofuels and proteins for food start to become blurred. We match all these types of feeding part, and this may reach a new dimension also using big data. Thank you very much, please. What are the societal impacts there? We are strictly depending on the GSD goals of the United States. As you may see, bioeconomy is, we may say, the biological power engine of the circular economy we said before. Europe decided in a very strong way, a lot of communication on the Green Deal, biodiversity, farm to fork, etc. So the European citizenships need to be aware about the climate change and the green and bio values. But please, Stig, what are the lessons learned in the last 15 years? Biomass remains the primary resource of bioeconomy. CO2 is added to the portfolio of primary resource of the bioeconomy, as we said before. Biorefineries, as we tried in NoAW, will be the central production facilities of the bioeconomy. Carbonate processing facilities are there in the Central Europe, mainly Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, but also in the other countries of the Central, Northern, and in particular, we start with Southern Europe as we listen to Verona. Recyclability and multiple reuse of masses are discussing now also in terms of the resilience of biological resources. Biotechnologies now are converted in new knowledge such as nanotechnologies, cognitive sciences. We remain the technology drivers of a new form of economy. This is very, very important because in between, as Anna Maria said before, in between pull and push drivers, we have the technology consolidation needs to be taken into account. So we don't need only incentives or public procurement or some policy activities, but also we need to develop a huge amount of, to consolidate it to the area of biotechnologies, as we said before. Please, Stig. Last lesson learned, we have also new breeding techniques and the genome sequence with CRISPR technology play an important role in a new resilient agriculture. We started to discuss a lot with the European Commission an openness on new breeding techniques and new genome editing techniques. We need that for improving our agriculture. Joint potentials of digitalization and biodigitalization is very, very important together. But I'm very optimistic on that. We have also the worldwide One Health that needs to give a boost to our bioeconomy needs. Please, Stig, it's up to you. The last two slides. Thank you very much.
Actually, no.
This is a slide explaining exactly that producing the VFA from the side stream prevents 15% of agricultural land use. So it's very, very interesting. It's not only externalities, but also land using that we spare in the future. And the last one, the last slide is in NoAW circular activities, please. We have raw materials from one side to manufacture, then we have the use of renewable materials, and we produce, instead of losses, a lot of, you see on the, please go ahead. We use a lot of new products and services on the right side. So it's very, very important to accelerate our activities, and not only, but to consolidate our technologies more and more. Thank you very much.